5 scary, true hotel horror stories. It was late November of 2019 when a woman named Danielle checked into a modest, mid-range hotel in Phoenix. She'd been traveling all day, exhausted from back-to-back meetings, and all she wanted was a shower, a cool room, and quiet sleep. She remembered thinking the room felt slightly off, maybe too still, maybe too quiet. But she brushed it off, took a shower, and climbed into bed. Around 2 a.m., she woke to a soft, metallic tapping. At first, it blended into the darkness, easy to dismiss as the AC or a distant door. But the tapping kept going, slow, patient. Tap, tap, tap. She sat up, squinting through the shadows, trying to pinpoint the sound. That's when she realized it was coming from the ceiling vent. She listened, heart beating faster, and the tapping stopped, replaced by breathing. A man's breath, slow, wet, right above her. She pulled back the blanket, staring at the vent, and that's when she saw it. Something shifting behind the slats, a flicker of reflection, then the unmistakable curve of an eyeball watching her. Frozen in place, she couldn't scream at first. Her body locked, the eye blinked. That broke her paralysis. She bolted for the door, sprinting barefoot down the hallway. Staff rushed to help as she cried, unable to explain anything beyond. "Someone's in my vent." Police and maintenance opened the duct, discovering a narrow crawl space carved above several rooms. Inside, bottles of water, food wrappers, blankets, and heavy prints in the dust. A man had been living there, crawling room to room, watching guests while they slept. They found him hours later, wedged further into the duct system, confused and barely clothed. No one ever figured out how long he'd been up there. They only know him now as the man in the vents. Mark and his girlfriend Riley had no idea anything strange would happen during their trip to Wilmington, North Carolina. They checked into a budget hotel, left their luggage behind, and went out for dinner and drinks. When they returned after 11 p.m., something felt wrong. The lights were on. The curtains were open. The bathroom mirror was fogged like someone had taken a shower minutes before. But everything they owned was untouched. No drawers moved, no valuables missing. The front desk apologized and blamed housekeeping. That explanation was good enough for the night. Around 3 a.m., Riley woke to the sound of their door handle gently jiggling. Slow, careful, like someone testing it. She whispered Mark's name, and the second he sat up, the handle slipped back into place. They called the front desk again. Security checked the hall. No one was there. The next morning, the manager reviewed security footage, and that's when they saw her. A woman in a housekeeper uniform walking toward their door at 3:13 a.m. No cleaning cart, no supplies, no ID. She pressed her ear to their door. She tried the handle. Then she looked straight into the camera and smiled. But here's the part that chilled them the most. The hotel had no night shift housekeepers scheduled. Every employee had clocked out hours earlier. The woman captured on camera has never been identified. Guests and staff only refer to her now as the housekeeper who doesn't work here. Years ago, a night auditor named Sean worked at a boutique hotel in Oregon with one infamous room, 612. It never stayed occupied for long. Guests complained about the same eerie details. Footsteps circling the bed all night, the faint smell of old perfume, and the uncomfortable sense of being watched. One couple swore a woman stood crying in the corner until they flipped on the light, revealing nothing but an empty room. One night, a businessman checked into 612. At 12:46 a.m., Sean received a call from the room. A trembling whisper, Someone is in here with me. Sean checked the hallway cameras. No one had entered or left the floor for nearly an hour. The guest insisted the closet door was opening on its own, and that he could hear breathing inside it. Sean and security rushed up. The guest was backed against a wall, shaking. Every piece of clothing he'd hung earlier was scattered across the floor. The closet was empty. No intruder, no forced entry. That night, Sean rechecked the hallway cameras. At the exact minute the guest claimed the closet opened, the camera pointed at room 612 glitched for one single frame. In that frame, a tall, shadowy figure stood outside the door. The next frame, it was gone. The hotel eventually stopped renting 612 out. Staff just call it the breathing closet. Helena was staying alone at a large hotel in Chicago for a business seminar. On her first night, she noticed a man near the elevators. Mid-40s, messy hair, brown jacket that looked older than he was. He stared a little too long, but never approached her, and she tried not to overthink it. Around midnight, she walked down the hallway to the ice machine. The floor was quiet. The machine hummed loudly as she filled her bucket. When she turned around, the elevator man was standing in the doorway, blocking it, just watching her with a dead, expressionless face. She murmured, "Excuse me," trying to keep her voice steady. He didn't move, didn't blink. When she stepped toward him, he shifted only enough to keep her path blocked. Her pulse spiked. The humming behind her seemed to grow louder in the silence. Then he leaned forward slightly and whispered, "I've been waiting for you." She shoved past him and sprinted down the hallway, nearly slipping as she fumbled her keycard. She locked the door and called the front desk. Security swept the floor and eventually found the man hiding behind the ice machine, crouched low, like he'd done it many times before. He wasn't a guest. He had followed someone inside hours earlier and wandered the hotel purposely looking for women alone. Helena left first thing the next morning. Staff later nicknamed him the Ice Room Stalker. In Tennessee, a hotel manager noticed recurring complaints from guests who stayed in room 204. Lights flicked on by themselves. TVs changed channels. Guests woke up around 3 a.m., feeling someone lightly tugging their feet. Most were dismissed as nightmares or sleep paralysis. One night, a man staying in the room sprinted downstairs at 3:17 a.m., pale and shaking. He said something grabbed his ankle and pulled. The manager checked the hallway camera outside room 204. At 3:09 a.m., the doorknob slowly turned on its own, then stopped. A few minutes later, a long shadow moved underneath the door. Not a person's silhouette, not connected to any body, just a drifting, human-shaped darkness sliding across the carpet inside the room. When the guest reported his ankle being grabbed, the shadow paused, then glided back toward the door and vanished. Maintenance checked everything: vents, locks, wiring, gaps, access points. Nothing. No explanation. Room 204 remains available to book, just never to the same guest twice. Staff quietly call it the Shadow at 3:09.